What's going on, guys? It's a new year, so we're going to change the oil in the ZX6R. So it's going to be pretty simple, but follow this video if you want to do it efficiently and quickly. So let's go. Alright guys, so we're back here. This is the oil we're going to be running. It's 10W40, full synthetic, and it's the KPO, which is the Kawasaki Performance Oils. I like this stuff. It's middle of the market. It's not the highest price thing you can buy, and it's obviously not cheap. I think I bought 4 quarts for about 67 bucks. So yeah, that's just what I like. You guys let me know what you guys run. And it's also peace of mind to buy, a little bit of higher price stuff. I'm sure any oil is going to be good oil for your motorcycle. I've never heard of a bike blowing up because it had oil in it. So, but yeah, just peace of mind. If it does blow up and I had Walmart oil in it, I was going to be blaming myself, So yeah, go ahead and pick you up some good oil, what I recommend here. And to make this easier in the future, I highly, highly recommend picking you up a K&N filter. Obviously, these guys have the nuts on the end, like so. And that will allow you to take this off easily. And this is just for the guys who have these race rails on, or any type of aftermarket rails, like the race rails or the crash bars, I believe they call them. And yeah, so this is where the filter is. And as you can see, I'm a pretty small guy, and these, I can barely fit my hands around that. So yeah, and the first time you guys buy this bike, if it's from the factory, these things are on tight. So just a little warning there. Highly recommend getting the one with the nut on it. If not, I don't have video of this, but if not, you can get around it without taking these off. You're just going to have to use a combination of wrenches, needle nose, and like vice grips to get this guy off. You can flatten it on both sides, get a nice flat surface, and then grab your pliers and you can twist it off from there. So we're on to draining the oil here. You got your 17mm socket with your small drive wrench on there, something to drain the oil in. And this bike is lowered about 1.5 inches, so there's not much room. So other guys, you might have a bit more room or less depending on what you've done to the bike. Alright guys, once you get your oil drained, go ahead and inspect it, make sure everything looks good. Depending on the bike and what oil change it is and how often you do it, you don't want to see any metallic flakes, you don't want to see super runny oil, and you don't want to see any type of really, concerning discoloration. Like if it's milky, then it's going to be, like a blown head gasket, stuff like that. So just make sure everything looks like oil and you should be good to go. Alright guys, once your oil is done draining, go ahead and grab your 17mm bolt back. Just check the threads and the washer to make sure there's no debris. So yeah, everything looks good. Just in case you overthink it, or if you don't have a torque wrench, these guys don't got to be tight at all really. So I'm just going to show you guys how much torque I put on it. So we got the bolt threaded back in here. Go ahead and wipe it all off. Make sure there's no residual oil so you can tell if you have a leak later on. So go ahead and do that thread hand tight. Clean it up a little bit. Alright, and you guys can just see how much torque I put on it. Let's see. And that's it. Nothing crazy. Just one-handed. Grabbed right at the front here. Get her tight. This is the KN 303. You can get this at your local AutoZone. And this is the one with the nut on it that you guys want. So when you're taking this off, just make sure and inspect your O-ring. Make sure there's no nicks in it from the factory or anything like that. And then should be good to go. I'm going to show you guys how we take this off now. First things first, we're going to get our throttle, or not our throttle, but our idle cable out of the way. Adjusts your idle here. If you're ever turning off at stoplights or anything, that might be something you want to check out. And then get your 17mm wrench, and also something to catch the oil because obviously you don't want it dripping all over your crap here. Theoretically, you just bend something in here like some cardboard. Yeah, that works great. So that'll catch the oil and hopefully send it this way into whatever we need to catch with. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this oil pan, bring it over here. Be careful, guys, not to scratch any of the parts on your bike. If you got a brand new bike, don't let this wrench scratch up the cover here for your front sprocket. All right, here we go. Get it loosened up enough to where you can go by hand. Get your stuff in place here. All right, there we go. Simple enough. Thought it would be full of oil, but guess it's not. So after you take your filter off, clean all around it. There's going to be a little bit of a spill. Just make sure you get as much as you can. It's not too big of a deal if you don't, but... Alright, so we got that all cleaned up. Now we got your new filter here. You can go ahead and put just a little dab of oil. It already came pre-oiled, but just if you want to do it old school, put a little dab of the fresh oil around the ring here, just so it has a good seal. Now you can start to put this bad boy on, and same as last time, you don't need very much force at all, especially if you guys have the rails on and you don't have the ability to get in there as good as you would without them. You definitely don't need as much force as a lot of other things in mechanics. So we got this guy, just slip it around here. All right. So now that's super easy, guys. Now just go ahead and tighten it up with your wrench. And before I had this, I just did this hand tight. And as you saw in the video, it was definitely tight enough. So just go ahead and get this guy cranking. And almost there. That should be good. It's nice and snug. So the manual says to put 3.3 quarts of oil in the bike. So go ahead and put 3 quarts in there, and then top off just a little bit of the fourth one. And make sure you hold your bike upright. If it's lowered, it's probably going to be upright enough if you don't have an adjustable kickstand. But go ahead and hold your bike upright once you put 3 quarts in it and just a little bit off the fourth. And so yeah, once you get your oil in there, this is your peephole to see your oil levels. So just hold your bike straight up and see what that reads. There's a minimum and a maximum line on there. You'll be able to see it. It's hard to see in the video, but you'll be able to see it in person. Alright guys, so once you put your oil in, don't worry if you don't see the levels right in the glass. It has to take a while to get through there. And also you're going to have to cycle it and get it into the oil filter before it shows you the true level. So go ahead and put your recommended amount of oil in there and cycle it for just a second. Hold your bike straight up and check your levels again. Right now I just started it, so it's going to take just a second to come back. And that's with the bike basically level. You can kind of see that oil in there, as you can see. And you can't really tell, but that's right about at the bottom of the fill line, maybe the middle. So if you want to be safe and get it up to the top of the fill line, you can. It'll probably take 3.5 quarts. But other than that, guys, you should be good to go ride. Just check your oil levels, and then when you come back off your ride, check your filter and your drain plug and make sure you don't have any drips or leaks, and you should be good. So enjoy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.